On the night of May 11th, 2025, my grandma passed away at the age of 84. My mom told me grandma passed peacefully, but the final chapter of her life was by no means easy. Since March, she has been bedridden and unable to eat or drink, and growing weaker by the day. Eventually, and even speaking became too much for her. She developed bad thoughts, and seeing her suffer like that was really very heartbreaking. As her oldest grandson, I wasn't there to say goodbye. I was living in Japan. My mom didn't tell me until everything had been taken care of. I had planned to go back to China during the Golden Week holiday for a work trip, but it was cancelled at the last minute. Also combined with some tensions between my parents and me, and led me to cancel the visit. Looking back, and that decision has become one of my deepest regrets, and some regrets you carry for life. For a long time, I thought death was something distant, but in recent years, I've come to realize that it's always been close. One by one, the elders in my family have left us. My paternal grandpa passed away before I could form any memories of him, and my maternal grandfather died of stomach cancer when I was in middle school. And later my paternal grandma passed a few years ago, and now this year my maternal grandma is gone. That entire generation has nearly faded into memory, so it leaves happiness in my heart. It's hard to describe, but it's like a very strange but quite emptiness in my inner heart. But we all know death is a part of life, but when you are face to face with it, you cannot help but ask, where do we go after this life, and does the soul linger? Maybe the answer don't really matter. What matters is, did we live well when we were here? In my adult years, especially after moving to Japan, I didn't see my grandmother that often, but her image is forever etched in my mind. She's a petite woman, and always smiling and always optimistic no matter what life threw at her. I lived with my grandparents briefly when I was little, and that time is partly faded in memory. Yet still there are certain images remain vivid. My grandma carrying her own older mother into the sunlight courtyard to sit under the warm sun. The picture that she feeding cats and dogs, and sometimes always saving a little fish for me because I liked it. And my grandfather bring back sweet treats from the town, and those sugar-filled pastries and fried on sticks are the taste I will never forget. And persimmon trees by their house, its fruit so sweet and plentiful. And my cousin and I playing in haystacks, digging for sweet potatoes, and watching the fish leap in the ponds. Those sights and those smells and those moments, they are my childhood. My grandfather died young and just a few years into retirement. After that, I noticed my grandma became a little bit quieter and a little bit less strong, but she began moving between her son's homes and never really settling again. There was nothing extraordinary about her life, not in the eyes of the world, but she quietly held our family together and giving us a safe home and a loving childhood. That in itself is a life of immense meaning. So, life in the end, it's a long series of goodbyes, from childhood and from loved ones and one day from ourselves. But in every goodbye, we also learn to cherish, to grow, to love. So, Grandma, thank you for being part of our lives, and thank you for the warmth, the care, the quiet strength. You may be gone, but the sunlight you left behind, that gentle, the familiar glow, will always guide me. It will live on in my memory, in my days, and also in my heart. May you rest in peace, and may there be no pain where you are now.